All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a really fascinating puzzle that sits at the very heart of India's economy. It's a story of incredible growth, for sure, but it also raises some massive questions about jobs. So, let's get into it.
So here it is, the central mystery. For years, we've heard that India's economy is one of the fastest growing on the planet. I mean, the numbers are huge. But if that's the case, why haven't we seen a matching explosion in employment? Where are all the jobs? That's what we're here to figure out.
Okay, so to really solve this puzzle, we first need the right tools. We've got to break the economy down into its three basic building blocks. You've got the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Understanding how these three play together, well, that's the key to everything.
First up, the primary sector. You can think of this as the foundation of the entire economy. It's all about activities that pull resources directly from the earth. So we're talking farming, fishing, mining, that kind of stuff.
Next, we have the secondary sector. This is the builder. It takes all those raw materials from the primary sector and actually manufactures things. Think about turning cotton into cloth or iron ore into steel for cars. It's where we make stuff.
And finally, there's the tertiary sector, which you'll also hear called the service sector. This part is the great enabler. It doesn't produce physical goods, but provides all the services that make the economy run. Everything from truck drivers and bankers to software engineers and teachers.
Now here's what's absolutely crucial to understand. These sectors don't operate in their own little bubbles. They are deeply, deeply connected. Just imagine, for example, if farmers in the primary sector decided to stop selling their sugarcane. Well, the sugar mill in the secondary sector would just have to shut down, right? One simply can't survive without the others.
So, now that we have our building blocks, let's get to the real heart of our puzzle. Because we're about to see a massive disconnect, a real contradiction, when we compare where the money is being made versus where most people are actually working.
Okay, take a look at this. This chart shows each sector's share of the economy's total value. And wow, the story it tells is crystal clear. The tertiary or service sector is the undisputed heavyweight champion here, contributing more than half of India's entire economic output. The primary sector, agriculture, is way, way behind.
But, and this is a huge but, when we look at where people are actually employed, the entire picture just flips on its head. That same primary sector, the one producing the least economic value, is still the country's single biggest employer. We're talking over 40% of the entire workforce. And there it is. That's the puzzle, laid out right in front of us. On one hand, you have this massive shift in production towards services, just like you see in many developed countries. But on the other hand, you have not seen that same shift in employment. The workforce is, in a way, still stuck in the least productive part of the economy. So, why?
Well, the answer isn't sitting on the surface of those big, flashy numbers. The real story is about the kind of jobs people have, not just the fact that they have a job. To understand this, we need to uncover something called hidden unemployment. This brings us to a really, really important idea: disguised unemployment. It's what happens when people look like they're working, but their actual contribution is basically zero. Put simply, you've got way too many people doing a job that could be done by far fewer.
Let's make this real with a quick story about Laxmi's farm. Imagine her family has 5 members, and they all work on this small plot of land. But here's the thing. The farm really only needs 2 people to run it effectively. So even though all 5 are busy, those extra 3 family members aren't actually adding to the farm's output. They are disguisedly unemployed because there's just nowhere else for them to find work. And you have to realize, this exact scenario is playing out on millions of farms all across the country. And there's another layer to this. Even for people who do have jobs, the quality can be worlds apart. Just look at this comparison between Kanta and Kamal. It shows the massive divide between the organized and unorganized sectors. Kanta has job security, a regular salary, benefits. Kamal, on the other hand, is like the vast majority of Indian workers. He's got a low-paying, insecure job with absolutely no safety net. This is the second big piece of the jobs puzzle.
So, that's the problem in a nutshell. A big disconnect between economic growth and job creation, and it's all fueled by disguised unemployment and a lack of secure quality work. But what's the solution? How do we fix this? Let's take a look at the path forward.
You know what's really striking here is how practical these solutions are. This roadmap isn't about some single magic bullet. It's about building productive work from the ground up.
Things like better roads and irrigation help farmers like Laxmi's family become more productive. Cheap credit helps them invest in their farms. Setting up industries in smaller towns creates jobs outside of agriculture. And of course, expanding services like education and healthcare creates millions of good, quality jobs directly.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. This whole jobs puzzle isn't just an economic issue, it's a deeply human one. The challenge is immense, no doubt, but the opportunity is just as big. The real question isn't just about creating more jobs, it's about creating the right kind of jobs. Jobs that can finally unlock the incredible potential of hundreds of millions of people. Now that is something to think about.